Hey, welcome to this house church video. So good you guys could join in. Thanks for being here. I was testing out my English accent. That wasn't working. Owen said it was South African, so I'll just cut with the accents. But I want to welcome you here. I want to welcome you to what we're diving into this week. It's Side Week, and so we're going to be talking a little bit about how we can love each other this week. Thanks, though, for joining into the live stream and just the Sunday mornings. Thanks for tuning into the message. Thanks for tuning into the huddles that happen at 9:10, and it's really cool to see how the community is connecting there. And also, thank you for signing up for 24/7. And I believe that there's probably been a rich time that you've had with Jesus during that time, and we just so appreciate you diving in during this time right now. So Sunday's message, we talked a little bit about Philip, and we watched how he was stewarding his words from God. And you're probably having that same challenge or application as coming out of 24/7, where God has spoken to your heart about some things. And how are you going to steward those things? And so the first question I had during this is, and you can ask this within your own house church, you can join up online and maybe talk for an hour, but the question I have is, in what God is speaking to you right now, maybe post 24/7, what's the biggest challenge? Are you struggling with stewarding the little and insignificant words that don't really feel like there's much to them? Like, does this really matter? Are you struggling with that? Or is your challenge the big words? Are you being scared or fearful of the really big things God has said to you? And like, God, how is this even possible? Like, this seems too big for me. Or are you struggling with the third thing, which is stepping into the strange? Like, God said this, I really don't know what that means, or I really don't know how it's connected anywhere. Which of those three maybe are you struggling with? So God's spoken to you over 24/7. Maybe start that conversation in your house church chat tonight and just voice which one for you and how God has spoken to you, which one seems like the biggest question mark challenge for you. One of the quotes on Sunday I used was from Rob Reamer, and he says, you can't go with God and stay where you are. And if you're like me, you see that God often leads you outside of your boxes, your comfort zone, out of your current beliefs, and if you've had things in your life, you probably don't believe the things you believed you did 10 years ago. And God is constantly growing us. And out of 24/7, I guess the light bulb I had is kind of, we can kind of align with things that just feel like it's a natural fit. But then there's some things sometimes out of 24/7 where it's like, that would be a supernatural thing God would have to do. So you might feel like you're aligned with something natural, like you have a business in town, and so I think that's just naturally God wants to generate an award-winning business here and bless the community, and that might just be a natural fit. But what would be the opposite of that? What would be the supernatural stretch, the thing that leads you further outside your box? And maybe it's, if I'd actually intentionally step into healing, or maybe your family is rooted in Portage and you love it here, but it would be a big stretch for you to leave your grandkids behind and actually move to a place like Dauphin and start a church. Which would be the supernatural place that one of the four prayers that God is maybe saying, this is probably what feels normal for you, and this feels like it's a really big stretch. My application that came out of Sunday's message it had to do around Acts 1:8, where Jesus is giving his disciples some instructions on where to go and what to do. And he's telling them to go to Judea, going to Samaria, and go to the ends of the earth. And he does that in a couple places, but we see that in Acts 1:8. And it's the central theme throughout the book, where we see the disciples not just going where Jesus said they should go, but also doing what Jesus said they should do. And we see Jesus' life and the disciples' life looking very much in line. For you as you go, if you've ever stepped into a new thing that you need to do, or do something you've never done before. We're just into January now, and some of you probably still have some New Year's resolutions going on. Why is it that so often our New Year's resolutions fail? And the application that I have for you is often because we go in alone. We come up with a really big thing, we step into it alone, and we don't have a partner to walk with us. And the application for the big things that God has pulled out for you for 24/7 prayer in the aftermath of that, and how to grow into that, is is finding a partner, finding a friend. You see that with the eunuch finding Philip. You see Peter coming to Philip, and you see this partnership growing. So I would just ask, as you share these big things in your circle with house church about where God's calling you, I would just in your house church tonight just be like, okay, and who's gonna help me actually be accountable to what God is saying to me? So find a friend tonight on you being able to do what God's calling you to do. So that's pretty much it. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and have a great night.